Good afternoon. Security Watch would like to welcome you to the final day of INDISEC 2009, and with me is Mr. Joseph Gordon, who is the president of Gordon Consulting Engineers. Welcome to India, Mr. Gordon.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So, we'd like to know, you were one of the speakers at this particular event, and you spoke to the audience and enlightened them about the role of technology. Very briefly, sir, what are the emerging technologies worldwide which can be very useful to the infrastructure sector in India, particularly ports, oil and gas, power and aviation?
So before we are coming and speaking about technology, what is very important to understand in protection of technology is the concept of protection, because you can have a very good technology which was developed just now, but it is not suitable for the specific application and for the specific requirements of security. So the big idea is that you have to adopt the technology to the application. You must have the experience to judge if the latest and the most modern technology can be suitable for a border, for a seaport, for an airport and a hotel. You can take the same technology and in two different applications, it can be in one success and in the other it can be a disaster. Today the technologies, they have a very high probability of detection. So it looks that they are working well. But the problem in the technologies is the problem of the false alarm, the nuisance alarm. If you have a command and control center and the latest technology of detection gives you per day 20, 30 false alarm, you will close the system. So you invested a lot of money in very new technology, but this technology, either it is not suitable for the application or it's not so proved on the field application. So it is very important to be very careful by choosing technology. Exhibition like this, you have here few hundreds of producers. Everyone is claiming that he's the best in the world and the most advanced and famous, but the truth is different. And when you came to an actual application and you have to invest millions of dollars, let's do it carefully. Let's do it carefully.
Mr. Gordon, I'd like to know, India is facing one very specific threat, that is the threat of Naxalism. Now these are urban and rather more of rural guerrillas, guerrilla warfare fought in the jungles and in the rural parts of India, wherein the residents of those villages themselves may be Naxals, by night, and normal villages by day, so they melt back into the resident populations. So how do we ensure that these people can be tracked down in the jungles and Indians fortified against their machinations?
Okay, first of all, their activity is activity of terror. So they are attacking civilians, they are attacking population. I saw yesterday in the television that a railway was attacked. So first of all, we should protect ourselves. I'm not speaking about the military action of attacking them. We are in a business of industrial security. So industrial security is a protective measure. It is not offensive. It is a defensive measure. Let's protect, first of all, our life. So this we can do by technology. Let's take the railway that was attacked yesterday. Today, there are very developed concepts. Still, I am not speaking about, I am not speaking about technology. I am speaking about the right concept of protection. If you have the right concept, you can take the technology, you can protect the railway, the rolling stock, the station, bridges. A train was exploded on a bridge. We have today a possibility to tell you that someone comes on the bridge and plans to attack it. There are surveillance systems, there are detection systems, there are unmanned EUs, so there are technologies. So I cannot refer to attacking. This is a military operation. This is not industrial security.
The problem here, sir, is that India would have about 1,000 bridges along, 200 kilometers of railway line. Now, how do you monitor each of these bridges, and how do you monitor the tunnels and large sections of?
I can tell you that, for example, in Europe, in countries like Austria, like Italy, like Switzerland, they have much more tunnels than you have here, much less threat than you have here, and still they are now already in the process of installation system. Answering your question, first of all, you have to establish a command and control center that will monitor this line. One command and control center can take a huge distances of monitoring because there are no hundreds alarms every day. There is one important alarm that you have to detect. So you have to establish a command and control center. You have to put operators that will be there working 24 hours, and they will monitor the various security systems. You use, for example, you spoke about bridge. We can tell you exactly that someone is climbing on the bridge, that someone is going and preparing explosive on the bridge. We can eliminate radio, remote control operating of explosive. We can protect the physical approach to a bridge by electronic fences. So the technology is just you have to arouse enough public awareness for the government to give the budget and for someone to take the right consultant to make the concept, and then you have a solution. I wouldn't tell you that solutions are always 100%, but they are good, they operate, and we have actual evidence that those systems avoid attacks and loss of life in our country. We are from Israel, you know, we have a lot of attacks against infrastructure, and you never know how much you protect yourself. Because there is only one case, if they success, it's your failure. But you can never know how many times you avoided them to attack. But we do have evidence that actual attacks were avoided, the terrorists were, the police took the terrorists, interrogated them, and they told that they didn't came to do this and this because of those systems.
So you mean that these systems have a deterrent value, and terrorists will think twice before actually attacking them?
Exactly, because if you don't success with deterrent, then you have to deal with what we call a day after, with the damage. And this is a very expensive operation, because you know, if this is a public operator of railway and he cannot go 1-2 days, he is losing millions of dollars in revenue.